If I were to ask you, what was the best individual season of this generation, what would you say? Maybe 2016 Curry with his barrage of three-pointers, nearly breaking basketball in the process. 2018 LeBron's also a good choice, pretty much taking a team full of G Leaguers to the NBA Finals, and dropping video game-like stat lines in the process. Maybe 2021 Giannis. Once he got the ball in the paint, just say goodbye. Maybe 2023 Jokic. The paint touch, the passing vision, the toughness, he had everything. But I think we just witnessed a season that might just top all of these. In the league's history, we've only seen 15 individual seasons where a player has won both the regular season and the finals MVP. That being Willis Reed, Kareem, Moses Malone, Larry Bird twice, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan 4 times, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaq, Tim Duncan, and the latest to do it, LeBron James twice in 2012 and 2013. And don't forget our boy, SGA in 2025. Now, if we add a scoring title as a requirement, you know who's still left in this list? Kareem in 1971, Jordan in 91, 92, 96, and 98, and the Diesel in 2000. And oh yeah, one more player to add to this list, SGA in 2025, who also had the highest scoring average of any of these historic seasons, by the way. What SGA just accomplished this season in 2025 will go down in NBA history, and this is exactly how he did it.
I would say the hardest player in the NBA to guard is probably Shea.
He's just always been super smart, super cerebral.
He's just always aggressive. He's always a threat out there every time you guard him.
He's fine-tuning his game in many different ways.
He's just continued to grow.
As a teammate, as a leader, he's just a warrior.
Shea is going to be so good.
Okay, picture this. It's another day in quarantine due to the pandemic in 2020. You're probably bored out of your mind, but something exciting is about to happen. The NBA bubble playoffs are about to start, and a young and unheard of kid named Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is making his playoff debut for the OKC Thunder. It was a mucky series against the James Harden-led Houston Rockets that lasted the entire 7 games, and Shai made a name for himself here. Well, kinda. Despite the Thunder losing this series in 7 games, SGA had a 31-point bomb in Game 2 and multiple 18-plus point games, giving Houston troubles. It was a rough series for OKC in the bubble, but this was just the beginning of what was to come from the OKC Thunder in the postseason headed forward. However, the championship dreams might have to wait for a bit. Immediately after the bubble, the Thunder dealt off Chris Paul to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for a bunch of role players and draft picks. It was official. The rebuild for OKC was intact. Following the bubble, the Thunder finished near the bottom of the Western Conference in both 2021 and 2022, while the team was still developing. It was a rough time to be out in the Great Plains, but SGA would take a serious leap in 2023 that few would have expected.
Sideline ready to trigger it in, which he does so to Shea. Shea gives the clock a check. Checked up by Matthews. Wants to step back 3. On the way, and Shea knocks it down for the lead. Jam. Shea, he'll pick it up, climb the ladder and put it down. Big thing here is where the Thunder catch this. Shea gets it, spins away, baseline shot. Shea puts it in and walks it off in OKC. Trae Young doing most of his damage in the second half. And Shea with Caruso waiting. He'll make his move, leans into it, has to put it up, does so, beats the buzzer, and it's going to count.
SGA in 2023 joined Michael Jordan, Tracy McGrady, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic of players that have averaged 31 points or more under the age of 25 in the modern era. Shea took a huge scoring leap from 2022, going from 24.5 points a game to a criminal 31.1 that would earn him an All-Star appearance, an All-NBA first team, and he even finished 5th place in MVP voting. But the rest of the team, though, they still hadn't caught up yet. The Thunder finished the 2023 season with a 40-42 record, where they lost in the play-in tournament to the Minnesota Timberwolves. A rough setback, but the league wasn't prepared for what OKC was going to bring in 2024.
47 games for you with at least 30 this season. That ties the Thunder record. How are you just so consistent, like the Tide, night in and night out?
My whole life is consistent. Everything I do, from what I eat to when I sleep, to my recovery, to my loved ones, everything's consistent. And it's a routine for me at this point.
Man, Shea is nice. I love Shea. I love Shea's game.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at basketball.
The OKC Thunder in 2024 were a stacked team to the brim. They went from the 10th seed in the West to the 1st seed in the span of just one season. SGA had another MVP caliber season, taking 2nd place only to Nikola Jokic. The Thunder looked dangerous in 2024, but it meant nothing without a ring to it. The Thunder's first matchup in the first round was against the New Orleans Pelicans, and they stood no chance without their star Zion Williamson. OKC stomped over the Pelicans, winning the series in just 4 games. But their next contest wasn't going to be quite the cakewalk, because OKC ran into a Slovenian man on a mission.
Doncic fades and hits off the window. Gets it back for Doncic. Doncic tosses it up and in. Doncic fouled in the act. Gets it to go off the window. Doncic. Kaboom! It's a 3.
Bob Doncic Jones with a slam. What a pass and finish.
I think 4 blocks there for Jones.
Lob it. Oh! Right down the middle for Doncic. Lob and slam. Oh, another banger for Dallas. Opportunity. SGA blocked by Doncic. Big time rejection.
Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks spoiled the OKC party. What was supposed to be the Thunder's breakout year was no more. The Mavericks completely stunned this young team, beating them in 6 games. A rough second round exit, but this wasn't the last time we'd see OKC on the big stage, because the Thunder went on a generational mission in 2025.
Well, first off, the swag is crazy, by the way. I had to.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at basketball.
Passing the phone to someone who has insane aura.
But I got one more thing to say. He's too humble to say it, but this is the MVP right here. MVP of the league. I'm going to say it for him because he won't say it.
Hey, just shake my hand. Just a little bit of aura. That's what I want.
I got you, bro. Okay?
Hey. For his teammates, you can see him starting to rock back a little bit. Mike Muscala on his left hip, and Biyombo just sort of collapses.
Appreciate the time and thank you for letting me share in your aura tonight.
Absolutely. There you go.
Appreciate you. There it is.
How would you define the word aura?
This guy right here.
To number 2, how does it feel to know nobody can guard you?
Next question.
Goes running back to work. Loses him.
Got inside, then scoops it up.
The kids in a couple years are going to say they're going to model their game after SGA.
The OKC Thunder were poised for a generational season in 2025. They started off the year with a quick 7-game win streak. Headed into November and December, they dominated the in-season tournament, only losing 2 games to the Spurs and the Milwaukee Bucks in the tournament final. OKC was on an insane 23-2 run during November and December and early January to run away with the 1 seed. And SGA in the process took his game to another level. 40 points against the 1 seed in the East, 40 against Ant and the Timberwolves, 41 against the Wizards, and 2 45-point bombs against the LA Clippers and Indiana Pacers. Shea was giving the best teams in the league work around the turn of the calendar year, and eventually come mid-January, he stole Nikola Jokic's spot as first place on the MVP ladder. From here, it was only downhill for the OKC Thunder. Another 27-3 stretch from OKC in February and March to solidify the Thunder as the clear best team in the league, with countless SGA buckets in between. At this point, the MVP debate was already over. The Thunder finished the 2024 and 25 season with an astonishing 68-14 record, a record that only the 1996 Bulls, 97 Bulls, and 2016 Warriors have topped in the modern era. SGA became just the second non-big man in league history to average 32 points or more while shooting above 50%. Cool stats, but once again it means nothing without a ring. The OKC Thunder clinched the 1 seed in the Western Conference by a wide margin. The first matchup was against the Memphis Grizzlies, but it really wasn't much of a matchup at all. The Thunder trampled all over Memphis, winning in a pretty easy 4-game sweep. However, their next matchup would test them like none other. The NBA scriptwriters were going crazy with this matchup. It was a duel between the two regular season MVP candidates, and the award still hadn't been announced yet. This series was going to be a war. May the best MVP win. To start game 1 in OKC, it was a real neck-and-neck battle. Neither team could quite take a solid lead, and it was Chet Holmgren at the free throw line with the Thunder up 118 to 119. After missing both free throw attempts, the doors were wide open for the Nuggets.
Grabs it. 7 seconds left. Westbrook, 5 seconds. They're down by 1. Gordon. Yeah!
A blunder from OKC to let the Denver Nuggets take a 1-0 lead in the series. OKC wasn't going to let 2 home games slide though, as they took a huge 149-106 win to type the series 1-1. The Nuggets took a huge 113-104 overtime victory, where Jamal Murray hit the dagger to secure the Nuggets a win. In Game 4 in Denver, it was another tight contest. It was a defensive showdown that looked better placed in the 90s. Neither team was able to crack 100 points this game. Luke Dort was putting on the clamps to Jamal Murray, and he hit several crucial threes down the stretch to help OKC secure a 92-87 win. It was Game 5 and back at home, where OKC leaned on its depth heavy. While SGA had 31, 6, and 7, 5 other Thunder players also cracked double-figure scoring. Despite Nikola Jokic dropping 44 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists, it just wasn't enough. Alex Caruso came up with this huge steal down the stretch to kill any chance of the Nuggets winning. In Game 6 in Denver, back on the road, down 3-2, and facing elimination, Denver had their backs to the wall. Jokic had 29, 14, and 8, while Murray and Brown chipped in near 50 combined points to guide Denver to a Game 6 win, 119-107. From OKC, Jalen Williams had an off night with a horrendous shooting log. It's now down to everyone's 2 favorite words in sports. Game 7.
Turnovers, which could absolutely crush you against OKC. Another turnover. Back to Williams, inside, it's gonna... Williams pokes it away, Jokic trying to get it, Williams comes away and throws it down. It's a Thunder avalanche here to end the second. As Wallace throws it, Jokic, oh, he throws it down. All the dreams of a title for the Thunder are still alive. OKC is going to the conference finals.
OKC came out of the gates roaring in this do-or-die situation. Alex Caruso put the clamps on Nikola Jokic, holding him to just 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. SGA and J-Dub were the stars on offense for OKC. Mr. Aura had 35 on 63% shooting, while Jalen Williams had 24 points on 10 of 17 shooting. The Thunder grabbed an early lead in the first half, and they never looked back, sealing a 125-93 point win, and their first trip to the conference finals since KD and Westbrook. In the conference finals, the Thunder's matchup was against the young and hungry Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards in Minnesota was on a run of taking out the old legends of the game. It was Kevin Durant last year, followed up by LeBron James in the first round this year, and Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green in the second round. Yeah, we're not going to throw Steph Curry under the bus. 2 of the potential future faces of the league were squaring off in the Western Conference Finals. In Game 1, SGA was cold at first, and it was a low-scoring first half, until the newly announced MVP caught fire in the second half, along with the rest of the OKC Thunder. Shea dropped 31, 5, and 9 with 3 steals to secure OKC an 88-114 win. In Game 2, the Thunder had another explosion, where SGA went for 38 and 8 assists, while Chet went for 22 points and J-Dub went for 26 points and 10 rebounds. The Wolves just looked overwhelmed by the OKC Thunder defense and suffered a 118-103 loss to fall down 0-2 to the Thunder in the series. But these back-to-back losses would light a fire inside of Anthony Edwards.
race for the ball, still alive. Edwards comes up with it. Wide open for the slam. Randall the spin. Randall the finish. Here's a steal. Taylor Williams lost it. Terrence Shannon takes it to the rack and scored. Anthony Edwards finished with 30 points.
Try to win the next one. All the chants about Wolves in 6, Wolves in 7, we still down 2-1, so we got to be ready to win.
Minnesota came to play, coming back to their arena at home. They blew the doors off of OKC and took a 143-101 win. Anthony Edwards dropped an insane 30 points in just 3 quarters, while Julius Randle, Naz Reid, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker came up big in Game 3. Minnesota was living in a fantasy land for a second, but then they came back to reality, where the OKC Thunder rattled off 2 straight wins, a tight victory at home with some questionable calls to secure Game 4, but in Game 5, OKC showed that they didn't need the refs' help, forcing a 30-point blowout to secure their spot in the NBA Finals, a place where KD and Russ couldn't quite finish the job, and now it was SGA's turn. The 2025 NBA Finals was a matchup of 2 small market teams new to the spotlight. The Indiana Pacers also felt like it was their year to secure their first franchise championship. The Pacers, led by Tyrese Halliburton, beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. They beat the 1-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers in 5 in the second round, and they capped it off with a win against the New York Knicks in the conference finals, along with countless clutch buckets from Halliburton in every series. Tyrese was on a generational run, and he wasn't looking to stop anytime soon. In Game 1 in OKC, the Pacers got off to a terrible start though. Indiana turned the ball over 19 times in just the first half, and quite honestly looked like a deer in headlights in the first moments of the NBA Finals. OKC took a 57-45 point lead in the first half, with 19 points already from SGA. OKC built up a 15-point lead with about 6 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, but if you've been watching the Pacers all postseason, you would know that no lead is quite safe against them. The Pacers eventually cut this lead down to just 1 point with 20 seconds to go, and SGA had the ball to put this game out of reach.
Gilgeous Alexander spins, pulls up, jumper, off the mark, won't go.
But the shot was no good, and the rest was up to Tyrese Halliburton.
The Pacers with a chance to win it. Final seconds, no fouls to give. Halliburton looking.
Halliburton has it with 3, driving with 2, pulling up. And hitting!
Tyrese Halliburton, with his clutch heroics, gave Oklahoma City a taste of what the Eastern Conference had been dealing with. The Pacers steal Game 1, 111-110. Game 2 put all the pressure on OKC. They could not afford to go into Indiana down 0-2, and they needed to make a statement. And making a statement is exactly what they did. They exploded right away out of the gates in the first half, taking a large 18-point lead by the end of the period. The Pacers were getting put in jail from OKC's defense, while SGA and Chet Holmgren were eating on offense. In the second half, the lead was just too much for Indy to climb back from. OKC wins this game 123-107, and they type the series, headed to Indiana. In Game 3 at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse, it was a real seesaw battle. Both teams exchanged the leads. First, it was the Thunder who got out to an 8-point lead in the first half, with 13 quick points from Chet Holmgren. However, the Pacers responded in the second quarter to take a 4-point lead going into halftime, with the help of 14 points from Benedict Mathurin in this period. At the end of the third quarter, though, OKC regained the lead by 5 points, with a two-way explosion from SGA and J-Dub in the period. However, finally, in the fourth quarter, the Pacers took advantage of their home crowd and capitalized with a 116-107 win. Halliburton had a near triple-double, while the real hero of the day was Benedict Mathurin off the bench, who had 27 points. Game 4 was a real pivotal matchup. A Pacers win could see the series get out of touch for OKC, while the Thunder was looking to stay alive at all costs. The pressure was felt on both sides though in Game 4, as neither team could quite pull off a serious lead. Haliburton and Siakam were doing everything in their power to try to take this game away, but OKC always had a response for them. Well, that was until SGA took over in the fourth quarter. SGA had 15 points in just this period alone to steal Game 4 away from Indiana. In a game that looked like the Pacers had already bagged up, the Thunder wanted none of that. It's going back down south for a Game 5. In the NBA Finals, a team that wins Game 5 has about a 74% chance of winning the entire series. And I'm sure both teams were keenly aware of this stat. To start Game 5, OKC was rolling with some fire, taking a double-digit lead right away at the end of the first quarter, and extending it to 14 by halftime, thanks to SGA's 13 and J-Dub's 16 points. In the third quarter, though, TJ McConnell was doing everything in his power to lift the Pacers back up, with 13 points off the bench in just this period. But it was kind of too little too late for Indiana. J-Dub took over in this game, finishing with a 40-piece on 56% shooting to finish off the Indiana Pacers. It's back to Indy now for Game 6. Prior to Game 6, it was reported that Tyrese Haliburton suffered a calf sprain in the previous game. Coach Rick Carlisle said, "I regret keeping him in there," referring to Game 5. The Indiana Pacers had the weight of the world on their shoulders. It was do or die, and the Pacers chose the first option.
Pass court. Finds Neesmith. Haliburton. Good ball movement. He kicks it to the corner. Nembhard. One dribble. Hops to his left. Shoots a three. And hits.
Rebound, Williams. His outlet pass stolen by McConnell. McConnell to the top. Toppin lets it fly and delivers the three.
Waddle driving on Caruso. Into a double team down low. Outside Toppin. Top on the fake. Top on the three. Puts it in.
This is the best the Pacers have looked all series.
Throws it away. Haliburton comes up with it. Cross court. Siakam for the slam.
Indiana came out to play in Game 6 at home. It seemed like everyone on the roster was on their A game, including 20 points and 4 3-pointers from Obi Toppin off the bench, 12, 9, and 6, with 4 steals from TJ McConnell, and this monster poster from Pascal Siakam. The Pacers tied up the series 3-3, and it's everyone's 2 favorite words in basketball. Game 7. The NBA Finals in 2025 witnessed its first Game 7 in nearly a decade, ever since 2016. In NBA Finals Game 7 history, the home team has won 15 of the total 19 contests, which is bad news for Indiana, but based off the Pacers' unreal playoff run so far, I wouldn't quite trust this metric. Game 7 in OKC was something special. Both teams were looking to secure their first ever franchise championship in the most dramatic way possible. In Game 7, the Pacers started off blistering hot with 3 quick threes from Tyrese Haliburton right away. Haliburton's calf couldn't quite hang on for much longer, and this catastrophic injury put Haliburton out for the rest of the game. The first half was a neck-and-neck game despite no Tyrese. Indiana went up 48-47 to finish the period. Going into the second half, all the pressure was on SGA and the Thunder. This was their championship to lose. The 68-win regular season, SGA's MVP, and the countless accolades OKC had achieved all came down to this final half of basketball. And boy did they not disappoint.
SGA pulls up, elbow jumper, got it. To Caruso. Caruso lines up the three. That's good. They greet SGA at half court. Gets past Turner, kicks it out Caruso. Gets another good look from three. That's good. Caruso off the bench with back-to-back threes. Wallace walks into a three. That's good. SGA, Hartenstein. Counted and a foul. They'll reset. splits the defense, kicks it out. Williams, a three-pointer. Bang!
Despite TJ McConnell playing like a 6'1" Caucasian Michael Jordan for about 5 minutes, it just wasn't enough to top OKC's lead. The Thunder held on in the fourth quarter and claimed their first ever franchise championship.
The Thunder have taken.
SGA won the 2025 Finals MVP, becoming just the first player since LeBron James in 2013 to win both the regular season and Finals MVP. Shea in the series averaged 30.3 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 5.6 assists in this thriller of a matchup. After a heartbreaking loss to the Mavericks last year, many fans and critics labeled the OKC Thunder a regular season team without the grit and determination to win in the postseason. And boy did those narratives shut down real quick. This is how the 2025 season cemented the legacy of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And if you guys are interested in other videos made just like this one, go check out some of the other videos in this series.